Great. Hi, everyone. Thank you and welcome. This is the second in our fall seminar series in the Agricultural and Human Sciences Department, and we are really glad that you're here to hear a little bit about the work and research from Dr. Joy Morgan. And to give you a little bit of her bio, Dr. Morgan grew up on a small beef, cattle, and tobacco farm in Oxford, North Carolina, where she was active in the 4-H and FFA. And through those experiences as a young person, which I think she's going to talk to us a little bit about, as kind of how her career has come full circle is the title of her presentation. She is now teaching undergraduate and graduate courses in our department, serving as the director of the North Carolina Tobacco Trust Fund Commission Agricultural Leadership Development Program. And we're so excited to have Dr. Morgan with us. And she'll do her presentation, and then we'll have time for Q&A later.
There's some handouts for those of you that are in the room. So it is certainly an honor and privilege to be here today. And when I was talking with Dr. Partisan maybe about what do I talk about? And she really said, well, it's up to you, anything that you want to do. And so mine, it's probably going to look a little bit different maybe than some of our other presentations, but I really wanted to highlight how things kind of came full circle for me, and they were through the connections and community. And so to start off with, on the screen, you'll see a picture. And so does anybody know what county that is? That's highlighted. Not Franklin, very close though. But it's Granville County. Yep. So I grew up in Granville County, about an hour north of Raleigh. And as I think about my life, really up until my junior year, I really didn't leave North Carolina at all. And that's my junior year of high school. And so as a family in Virginia, we'd go to Virginia and maybe took one family vacation to Tennessee and maybe a few times to South Carolina, but pretty much that was the extent of it. And so then junior year of high school happened and things kind of changed a lot for me. And so it was from that moment that I really began to see that, wow, there's a lot outside of North Carolina. There's a lot outside of Granville County, and I am really excited about that. So to kind of guide our discussion today, answering the W's of who I am. So who am I? What classes and programs do I teach? Where do these occur? And then why these? And so through the course of today's presentation, I hope at the end, you'll be able to answer a few of these items. And so as we think about who I am, going from that Granville County person, I've got 4 roles that really define who I am today. And so that first role is the daughter. I'm a first-generation college student. My dad was a truck driver for John Deere. My mom worked at our local library and cleaned houses. And so for them, they always said education is going to be your key. And I'm so grateful for that. My mom made sure that I filled out every single scholarship application that came through. And if by chance, there was this one time the guidance counselor saw my mom at the grocery store and said, yeah, I was really hoping Joy would fill out the scholarship application, but she didn't get it turned in time. I was grounded. And so from that point on, I made sure that I wrote every essay, and because I really wanted to come to college, and it was my parents' priority as well. And so then a second role is I'm a mom, and so these are my girls, Westry and Claire. And when I think about the life and a job, I just want to make sure that my girls always know that I'm their #1 priority. And so they're important to me. And while we are a family that's heavily rooted in agriculture, I want to make sure that they know that whatever they want to do, that we will be very happy for them and we will encourage them. And then also, I am a wife. My husband's a full-time farmer, cotton, peanuts, soybeans, and corn. And so life is really, really rooted in agriculture for him. He's on the farm every single day, and we live about an hour away from the farm. And so sometimes that makes things a little bit challenging. And then that last role that I really am excited about is my role as an educator here at NC State. And so this is a picture of my 8326 students at the Reality Center in Durham, which is a center for individuals with and without disabilities. And we go teach them lessons, agricultural lessons throughout the course of the semester. And so when I think about these items, I have to also share the role that 4-H FFA played in my life. And so as Annie mentioned, I grew up on a beef cattle and tobacco farm. The tobacco side came from my grandparents, and I didn't go to preschool, and I stayed with my grandparents at those points. And so unless there was a 4-H activity, I was in the tobacco fields. And so it was like, oh, there's a workshop on electricity. Yep, I'm interested in electricity. Or there's an entire summer-long sewing class. Yes, I'm going to make a skirt, because I didn't want to be there. But little did I know just how never say never. I said I would never marry a farmer, and then that's what happened. But 4-H kind of started my passion for education and extension. And then when I got to high school, it was through my ag teachers. And I am proud to say today that I was one of those individuals that was tagged to teach ag. And then a quote by Crystal Evans, first, show up in every single moment as if you were meant to be there. And so as I talk about the 3 pivotal moments in my life, this quote is something that I live by. It's coming up in my office, and it just helps guide me in my daily actions. So to start off with, I want you to think about what are 3 pivotal moments in your life. And I'm sorry I didn't share the handout with those of you online, but to guide my presentation, I'm going to talk about 3 pivotal moments. So I'd just like for you to take a moment and think about 3 pivotal moments. So hopefully you have those pivotal moments, and if you'd like to share any on the chat, feel free to do that. Anyone in here, can you think of a kind of a pivotal moment in your life where you're like, yeah, that really changed my plans, or I'm looking back, I'm so glad that happened?
I would say that I went to college and my parents lived like 4 states away, 5 states away, like after I'd been there for a month. And that was so going from 2 hours away to way far away to it's pretty big.
That is
They should grow up.
Yes, very quickly. And so,
Dr. Sanders, do you want me to read the chat?
sure.
All right, so Dr. Sanders says applying for a master's program in extension education while having no idea what extension was. With a smiley face.
Yes, and we are so glad, Dr. Sanders, that you found your way to extension. That's wonderful. And so as we think about our pivotal moments, oftentimes it is these moments in your life that are made up of all these smaller pieces and things that maybe seem insignificant at the time, but in fact brought you to where you need to be. And so for me, those 3 pivotal moments, when I think about that, they really inspired me to where I am today. And so that first pivotal moment was back in 1997. I needed another class that did not conflict with my honors classes, and I really wanted to take Latin. So my guidance counselor said, there's an intro to agri-science class. I think you should sign up. Okay, I'll do that. And so signed up and then joined the FFA in 1997. And then it was through my participation in the FFA that my ag teacher said, hey, we want you to attend this camp. And that was in the year 2000. So 23 years ago, I came to campus. I'd never been to campus before for a week-long summer camp with 50 other individuals. And that was the Eiffel program. And then fast forward to 2014, I was coming off of the stage for an agronomy club banquet. And this man in his 80s grabs my elbow and pulls me aside and says, hey, I need to talk to you. It's like, okay. So these are 3 pivotal moments in my life that have influenced where I am today and influenced the work that I have. And so those pivotal moments would not be pivotal if it were not for people. And so when we think about the people, the first picture is of my ag teachers, so the Murphys. They worked together for 30 plus years. I could never work every day with my husband and then go home every night, but they did it, and they did it magically. And so whenever there was an event, they would reach out to the students that were interested in that event and say, hey, you need to participate. And oftentimes it was a push, because we would say, no, we don't want to do this, but they would say, yes, you need to. And so Miss Murphy wrote all these scholarship recommendations for me. And she's the one that got me involved in agriculture. And also I've been thinking about, hey, I want to be a teacher, but I was really leaning towards the math side of things. And she said, I think you should be consider ag teacher. So that was the Murphys for that moment in FFA. And then 23 years ago, Dr. Jim Flowers was leading the IFL program. And it was through those conversations that I mentioned to him, I'm considering ag ed, and he said, yep, I think that would be a great thing for you to consider. And so keep in mind, I said that I'm a first generation college student, and my parents did not know really anything about exploring the college world, applications, FAFSA forms, all those things. And there were several points during my senior year that my mom would call Dr. Flowers, because my parents still today do not use email, but they would call Dr. Flowers and they would ask him these questions. And he would always take the time to answer those questions. But later in life, I would find out it wasn't just for me. Like, he did that for every single student that he interacted with. And he has influenced a lot of my advising philosophy. And then I mentioned to you that 83-year-old, 80-year-old man. Today, he's 93 years young. And this is Dr. Phil Collins. And so as I was coming off the agronomy club stage from receiving an alumni award, Dr. Collins said, there's this leadership program. And I think based on your bio that Dr. Patterson just shared, you would be a great fit for it. And at this point in time, I was coming off a divorce and just really like, I just don't want anything else in my life. And I am so grateful that Dr. Collins pulled me aside and told me about this program. So here we are today at NC State, and I'm an assistant professor in a career that I absolutely love. And it's pretty amazing that those three pivotal moments continue to play such a significant role in my life today. And I get to work with all three of those components. And so because I have a heavy teaching appointment, I would like to share a little bit about my teaching. And so I want to take you back to 1997. I'm sitting in my high school ag science classroom, and I am sitting next to this individual who we will call Aaron. And so every day, Aaron would come in, dragging his backpack. He's mad, he's upset, he's had a bad day. And he would sit down beside me because we had assigned seats. And pretty much at least once a week, he would get so mad in class that he would just clear his desk. Books would fall to the ground. And Miss Murphy would just walk over and say, Aaron, let's put your stuff out back on the desk, and then you need to take his stuff out. So if you were to ask the majority of students in agricultural education why they became an ag teacher, they're going to say they're ag teacher. Yeah, check. The Murphys inspired me. But then they would say something like FFA camp or going to national convention or that outreach. For me, it was Aaron, because our ag classes at JF Webb High School were filled with students who of varying abilities and was often viewed as that dumping ground, because the Murphys just had this way. It was a hands-on class. And I wanted to be a teacher of those students who were dumped into classes, to let them know that, hey, there's a bigger purpose to your life, and ag could be a pathway to kind of get you wherever you want to go. And so that is the reason why I'm so passionate about teaching diverse learners, because looking back, Aaron most likely had some sort of learning disability, and he also came from a home situation that was not the best in the world. And so because of Aaron, when I came on board to NC State as a graduate student, I was partnered with Dr. Beth Wilson, and she was teaching this class called Teaching Diverse Learners. This was not a class that I had taken, but I immediately fell in love with it because it was in my interest area, and I did quite a bit of work as a teacher with teaching diverse learners. And so today, this undergraduate class is very heavily focused on service learning. Of course, when COVID happened, we had to pivot and readjust some things. But we are gradually picking back up that service learning component. And so we go to Governor Moorhead School for the Blind, which is right down the road here in Raleigh. We also visit the Reality Center in Durham, the Corinne Community Garden. And so these are a few of our service learning stops where our students have the ability to work with individuals that have some sort of diverse need. And so from visual impairments to varying abilities, and also different cultures. it's important for me that our students that leave this campus know the first time that they interact with someone or they have to modify a lesson is not when it's in the high school classroom, but they've done that here and they feel prepared to do that in their classrooms. And then also through a partnership with the Global Training Initiative, the students graduate with a developing cultural competence certificate if they complete all of the requirements. And so that's a really unique partnership for our students. During the course of 4 weeks, we'll meet with students from other universities around the world, and they really explore that concept of culture and how it plays a role in education. And then AE 435, which is professional presentations and ag organization. The students present 5 presentations throughout the semester, of course, because it's a presentations class, but on my title slide, I've said connections and community. And so another big piece of my work here at NC State as an educator is to help our students establish those connections. And I am constantly bringing in guest speakers or judges or career industry professionals, because I want our students to interact with these individuals and go ahead and set up their networking while they're on campus. And so I do this through the research poster contest. I bring in outside judges related to the topics that the students select, and then a career dinner that allows the students to get dressed up and sit down and have conversations with some of those individuals that are in careers that they want to go into. And so this is a picture from last spring. We had James Lamb, who is a farmer and works for Prestige. We had Alyssa Spence, who works for North Carolina Agri-Medicine Institute, Weston McCorkle, who North Carolina Department of Agriculture, Colin Blaylock, Farm Credit, and then Sarah Massey, who works for the Dairy Health Alliance. And so several of these individuals are graduates from our department, and they took the evening about an hour of their time to just sit down and talk through a 3-course dinner. And so the students would rotate through each course and they would talk with 3 individuals. And so new for the fall this year, we're also offering an online section, and that is just opening doors for our students who are not able to come to campus but still would like to major in agri-science, which is the college's first completely online degree program. And then I also want to highlight that because of connections from this class, my students have gained internships, graduate school assistantships, and then also a few individuals have also gained a job. So because of someone that they met through one of my networking events, which I'm pretty proud of. It's like proud mom moment. And then the last course that I teach here is AHS 735. And this is a graduate course, and it's really designed for those students who want to become professors at universities, community colleges. And so throughout the course of the semester, there are micro teachings, observations, in which they go out and observe faculty throughout the campus. And I know for me, when I was kind of learning all about, hey, how do I teach at the university level? Bryce Lane, phenomenal instructor over in horticulture, I would email him and say, hey, I've got this day free, can I just come watch you teach? And that is something that I would strongly encourage you all as graduate students to do, is take advantage of these amazing faculty that we have on campus and go watch them teach, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel, and your personality may not be the same as theirs, but you can pick up bits and pieces that you can implement in your course. And so another way that I try to offer connections within this graduate course is I want our students that take this course to be prepared to submit their NACTA, North American Colleges and Teachers of Agriculture, Graduate Teaching Award. And so I embed some of the requirements for that award into this course so that they can get feedback. I know as a grad student, I was often submitting those applications at the last minute, and we have got some amazing graduate students who are truly deserving of this award. So by embedding some of these requirements into my class, they're able to get some feedback. I'm able to help them put their packet together with the assistance with their major professor. And also within this course, want to make sure that a community is established. And so if you were to read my teaching philosophy throughout, you will see connections and community are a very integral part of all of my classes. And I want to make sure that by the time a student leaves my course, they have worked with every single student in the room in some aspect or another. And so my teaching was influenced by my ag teachers back in 1997. And then that second pivotal moment that I shared was the Eiffel program that I participated in 23 years ago. And today I get to serve as the director of that program. And so as a student participating in the program, I knew how much it meant to me because it showed me a lot about the campus. And so today, while some of the components of the Eiffel program have changed with the times, it's also continues to be one of those pivotal programs that our Cowles College offers rising high school seniors. And so for a week in June, 60 rising high school seniors will come to campus. They all have an interest in some component of agriculture, and we visit with every single department within Cowles. And so that's really great for them to meet the faculty, meet the advisors, and learn a little bit more about that. Also, there's leadership development and a community service aspect. And then we also want to make sure that these students know how to advocate for their community. Because oftentimes, if the parents don't know how to advocate for the community, if we can teach their children, then the children will go home and say, hey, I know you're really upset about this recent piece of legislation. Here's how you should fall. And so we're really using that as when we think about extension, oftentimes we train the youth, and then they go home thinking back to like the tomato clubs and those things from the early days. And then that networking. So I found a picture over the weekend when I was at my parents' house that I thought about including in here. And it's a picture of when I came through the Eiffel program. And so there were only 10 of us girls that year in the program. So 40 guys, 10 of us girls back in 2000. And so when I looked across, there was a picture of us girls, every single one of them, like I still keep in contact today. And so they're friends of mine. One was a college roommate of mine. And so that's one of the great things about this Eiffel program is the students will find their college roommates. They'll determine, hey, this is what I want to do for college. And so the program today is running by 3 faculty and 7 counselors. We want to make sure that the students do not get into any trouble. And so we want to have more than that 10-to-1 ratio. But as we are, North Carolina is pretty unique in this program. I've talked to individuals in Georgia. They want to start a very similar program. But the great thing is that our research and our data shows that approximately 60% every year that come to the program end up coming to NC State and majoring in ag-related in Cowles. And so some of those other students maybe took a different path. They went to a community college, or they decided not to go to college, or maybe they didn't get in based on their GPA. But it's still a great recruitment event for us here at NC State. And so then we fast forwarded to that 80-year-old man grabbing my elbow as we walked across the stage, and that's North Carolina Tobacco Trust Fund Commission Ag Leadership Program. And so this program was started back in the 1980s by Dr. Collins, the individual who grabbed my arm. And it was primarily for tobacco farmers. Well, for those of you that are from North Carolina or know a little bit about tobacco, a buyout happened, and a lot of our tobacco farmers that were farming here in North Carolina, they no longer were tobacco farmers. And so money got invested here at NC State into an endowment to continue the leadership development for those farmers and to help them adjust to growing new crops and investing in other things. And so that's where this program stems from. It was originally a Philip Morris program, and then in 2004, it transitioned to the program that we have today. And so every 2 years, it's a group of 25 to 30 early and mid-career agriculturalists. This last graduating class of 25 had 75% farmers. And so that is great, full-time or part-time. And then we do personal leadership development, civic leadership development. There's a policy tour where we take them to Washington, and they each have an agricultural issue that is relevant to North Carolina as well as the US, because when we go to Washington, we can't just advocate for those issues here in North Carolina, because we want to make sure everybody's somewhat on board with those. There's also a domestic study tour. So previous cohorts have went to California. The past 3 cohorts have went to Texas. And then there's an international study tour. And so we normally go to Brazil. Brazil is one of our largest competitors here in North Carolina. And they also grow many of the same crops that we grow. They are really forward thinking, and in the past, I've been to Brazil 4 times. And so from my first visit to Brazil to now, it has really grown in innovation and technology usage. And it's pretty remarkable. And so when I came on board as the director, the previous trips we visited like male-owned operations, and it was great. Like it was a great learning experience. But I asked the individual who I worked with who helps plan and coordinate the visits. I said, "We've got a 50% female for the first time ever in the program. Is there any way that we can visit some female-owned or co-owned enterprises?" And it was amazing. It was so cool. For the first time ever, we had snacks at some of these because we were, and so, but that wasn't the only reason that it was neat. But I'm really visiting these international farms that are highly recognized down in Brazil that have both female and male leadership really resonated with our participants, and it gave them some things to think about. One of the female farmers that we visited with, she talked about how it was her dad only had girls. And so she wanted to make sure that their farm continued. And so her and her sister are operating close to a 10,000 acre soybean farm. And so that was really neat to see. In addition, I wrote a grant to make sure that each one of our cohort participants had an executive coach while they were in the program. And so they would meet with their executive coach once a month for at least an hour and talk about the assessments that we did in the program, as well as anything else that was going on in their life personally and professionally. As a result of this program and the executive coaching component, we had, I believe it was 8 individuals who got job promotions or either transferred to a different and rose in rank in leadership. And then also the great thing about this program that Andrew Blaswa, who's a graduate student, is looking at for his research is how is this program meeting the needs of our commodity associations here in North Carolina. The majority of the participants the majority of the commodity organizations, their leaders and committee members have went through the program, and we have a great buy-in from those commodity organizations. But we want to know a little bit more, like, what are we missing when it comes to this program, and how can we help them lead better in their commodity organizations? And so I talked through those 3 pivotal moments in my life and shared with you how they impacted me. And I have the privilege of working with those 3 things still today, whether it was Eiffel or with ag teachers or with the leadership program. I take my experiences as a participant, and then I build upon them to make sure that those students and those individuals that come through the program have they leave with the same impact that it had on my life. And so in addition to those things, a few other things I'm pretty passionate about is our rural students here at NC State, and especially within the College of Ag and Life Sciences, which led to the development of the Really Engaged Agricultural Leaders Program, which is a cohort of students that explore leadership development as well as the extension world. And because we know that if you're from a rural community and then all of a sudden you land here in Raleigh, things are a little bit different. Our rural students, based on a research project that I worked on, said, I graduated with a class of 100. And then I came to my biology class as a freshman, and there were 200 plus students in there. I feel like just a number. And so how can we help those students transition once they come here to NC State? Because they're valuable members of our NC State community. And when we think about agriculture and where agriculture takes place, we really need these students to not only come here to NC State, we need to retain them and help them graduate, but also allow them to then become recruiters for us to come here. As I mentioned, I'm a first generation college student. And so I'm very passionate about the work that First in the Pack is doing, and I enjoy working with those projects to help our first generation college students. Because when we think about my parents making those phone calls to Dr. Jim Flowers, You know, not every parent has that. And so some of our students are really navigating this world of college by themselves. I've got several advisees who, in addition to coming to campus, they're also paying their entire way. And so they're working multiple jobs. And so we want to make sure that whatever our students need as an advisor, I'm here to provide them with those resources and make sure that they have the community for success. And then also, a little bit more of my research is focused on effective teaching strategies. And so Dr. Misty Lambert leads an effort with Delta, which is for teachers who are laterally entry or are beginning teachers. And so we want to make sure that we need teachers in North Carolina. Ag has doubled and ag education has doubled here in the state of North Carolina. We constantly need teachers to fill these new programs. And so once we get these new teachers, we want to make sure that they have the skills to stay in the classroom. And so as we think back to that very first slide, and there's Granville County in the world, because of agriculture, because of ag education, because of NC State, it opened so many doors for me. And I'm no longer the individual that I was coming from Granville County that had never really visited other than 3 other states. And so for me, it opened up doors. It opened up doors that made me think about North Carolina, but also how North Carolina plays an integral part in the international space of agriculture. And so whether it's my students through the Developing Cultural Competence Certificate, or whether it's an ag leadership program, visiting Iguazu Falls, which is one of the natural wonders of the world in Brazil, I want to make sure that our students and our participants understand North Carolina and how they can be a leader in North Carolina, whether it's in agriculture or within agricultural education or extension, whatever that realm is. But I also want them to be leaders at internationally, or know their part in that. And so in closing, those of you that have the handout, there is a spot for you to write a mission statement. And a mission statement just kind of helps guide your thoughts and your daily actions. And in 2014, when I entered the leadership program, this is one of the things that they said, everybody needs a mission statement. And so then you have your mission statement and you need to put it in a place that is where you can see it every single day. So if you're having a bad day, or if a student makes you mad, or whatever it is, you can look back at your mission statement and you're going to get rejuvenated. And so this is mine. My efforts focused on accessibility and equipping individuals with the tools and connections needed to become leaders within their communities, organizations, and schools will be integral components of North Carolina agriculture, agricultural education, and extension as we grow and continue to meet the needs of our most valuable resource, and that's people. It was because of those pivotal moments and the people involved in those pivotal moments that got me where I am today. It's the research that I do all relates to people and how can we help create success and how can we better those things that we're doing to provide increased accessibility for those individuals. And so this is my mission statement, and I would encourage you to come up with your mission statement if you don't have one already, and write it down and put it in a place where you can see it. And so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, or you can ask me now, but this is just a little bit of a glimpse of kind of how those pivotal moments have not only influenced my teaching, but the leadership program is a key part of my extension work. And then all of those things combined kind of fueled my research passions. And it's pretty important that you find something that you're passionate about when it comes to researching it. There's a way to connect all of them, it's even better. And so that's what I've been able to do from 3 pivotal moments that happened in the 90s and early 2000s. And it's hard to think that those things that happened 10 and 20 years ago are still influencing who I am today. Thanks.
Does anyone online or in the room have questions for Dr. Morgan or anything that you'd like to talk about? And those of you online, you're welcome to put those in the chat or raise your hand and I can unmute you, or you can unmute.
Well, thank you all. Thank you all so much. If you do ever have an idea or you would like to team up or partner with any of these initiatives or programs that I lead, let me know.
Well,
At
It
least you
was-
got free crackers.
It was fabulous.
It was
No, that's what I
great.
was
It
gonna say.
it
I
was
think
fabulous.
for those folks listening online, for the graduate students who are here, I love, there were so many different nuggets. It felt like this blending of research and professional development for our graduate students, which is amazing. To help you all see that like sometimes the journey is, and it connects back to, sometimes your journey connects back to who you are and these moments that you have and what an impact a teacher can have and what an impact those people in your life can have on your work and your scholarship. So, and also I think Dr. Morgan's suggestion of watching other faculty teach is such a good one. I didn't do that as a graduate student, but it's brilliant. So those of you who are listening, and if you haven't taken 735, it sounds like you do that at the course as well. But thank you again. We really appreciate it. Enjoyed that. Thank you all so much.